Hey everyone, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm John Cartwright, and I'm joined by Tom Arnold. And Tom, we just sat down to watch the Yacht Club Direct, where they basically announced a bunch of their upcoming games. And I'll go over the main things they announced, and we'll go granularly into the more important parts. So they started off with Cyber Shadow, which is their upcoming game. They went into, they started off with their schedule of what they've done over the course from Shovel Knight's launch until now. And the live chat was blowing up thinking they'll be announcing like Shovel Knight 2 or something. But no, they were basically just saying what they've done in the past. So they went on to Shovel Knight Dig, then Shovel Knight Puzzle Shovel Knight Puzzle Dungeon, and then a censored unannounced game. And that was most of the gist of this presentation, a few patch notes for Showdown. But Tom, what really caught your eyes in this presentation? What was the game for you?
Well, the game for me would be just a continuation of Cyber Shadow, and showing more. It was more of an emotional tone in this trailer, and that kind of makes sense because back in the day, I believe Ninja. This is where I butcher the name. Ninja. I think it's Guy. I
think it's pronounced Ninja Gaiden.
But I'm gonna call it Ninja Gaiden always, but Ninja Gaiden. That was like one of the first games with cutscenes, if not the first one, or like sort of cinematics. So it makes sense that how much Cyber Shadow is kind of looks like a spiritual successor, or at least is based deeply in that game. That they would have some focus on cutscenes, and of course then, some action scenes at the end. And that game is coming out. They also announced fall 2020, so that's good to see. How about you, John?
I think I'm actually kind of the same. I want to be diverse just for conversation's sake, but Cyber Shadow looks incredible. There was that one portion when they were talking at the end of the presentation after showing the trailer for Cyber Shadow, and they were just speedrunning through the game. Like they were just in the air the entire time, bouncing off enemies, making these amazing chain combos. And that's what really did the game for me. Like the emotional tone looks great, the cutscenes look amazing too. But just seeing how well the gameplay flows really makes it click for me. And it kind of looks like what they attempted with Shovel Knight in a way, just for the Ninja Gaiden sort of genre. You can get that same sort of snazzy art style and like great feeling impact with each hit, like Shovel Knight has. But the different tone they're going for really does set this apart, and it just looks like a spectacular game. Though I will say, this being in the fall, that's not too far away. But it is also the closest thing to launch in this entire presentation, which kind of set things a little iffy for me. Because I know they're an indie studio and they can't be pumping out game after game, but a lot of these games aren't coming out until next year, or even later than that. So a lot of this stuff isn't really going to be coming out soon.
Yeah, that's part of the thing. Like Shovel Knight Dig is next year, even though we got a bit of an update on it and a new Knight character revealed, Hive Knight, who is going to really bug Shovel Knight. Apparently, that was they've done better pun effort before, but yeah, because considering that's next year, and that when I played that at least 6 times at PAX West last year, I would say like it was already really polished feeling, but you can tell there's. I guess that was a vertical slice and there's more content to be added to it, I guess. And so that's next year. You have to think how long the 2 new titles they're developing internally, how long they'll be, because that probably means at least 2022 for those.
Yeah, and you and I have been talking about this just before the discussion. Is it 2 new titles, or is it 1 new title plus Shovel Knight Puzzle Dungeon? Because the wording's odd, because they say there's 2 brand new games in production, and then they go straight on to announce Puzzle Dungeon. So was that one of the 2 new games, or is there another game? They're sort of censoring their monitors and showing us what they were working on without actually showing us. So we have no idea if there's 2 or 10, I guess maybe 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess 3 though, just unless they were... Like, I don't think Yacht Club Games would try to mislead us in that way, especially they're showing photos of their studio. I'm gonna hope that at least the 2 new brand new games are being made internally, and they're kind of teasing at a brand new IP too. So I'm gonna guess one of them might be Shovel Knight related, one of them might be totally new.
It's very cool they're moving away from Shovel Knight. I mean, I love Shovel Knight, but he's been everywhere at this point, and I'm ready for something fresh. Though, that being said, Shovel Knight, I've been calling it Puzzle Dungeon. Pocket Dungeon is a puzzle game that looks very much like Wario's Woods on the NES. And it kind of feels like Wario's Woods mixed with, in a way, Crypto the Necrodancer. Just the way you move around is very like hoppity in that style. But it's basically a roguelike puzzle game, and it looks good. Like, I'm not usually someone for this specific type of puzzle game, but it just looks super charming.
Yeah, it definitely has the has more of a almost chibi, cartoony look to the Shovel Knight characters in it, and I could definitely see myself having fun in multiplayer in it. And with Yacht Club overseeing it, that it's going to be super polished. They're not going to force out something that doesn't have good gameplay. And like you said before, Yacht Club Games often finds inspiration in older titles, particularly older Nintendo titles, to work off of. And and the funny thing is, when I first saw it, I thought this is a mobile game. But then you look closely, it's like this is a pretty wide screen. Like, unless you're holding your phone sideways, it's probably a title that, and with multiplayer, you're going to be just playing on the Switch and other platforms too. So that's a bit more reassuring for where the direction of this game is going, for me.
For sure. And you touched on a good thing there with polish, because the music in the trailer was spectacular. But the visuals themselves, there was so much going on screen, and it looks like a proper way to respect the Shovel Knight legacy. There were so many characters from the games in there, and it just seems like something that Shovel Knight fans are really going to enjoy.
Regarding the characters, I'm wondering, will they add more characters later and build on that Shovel Knight legacy, or will they just kind of reuse them? I mean, like Mega Man, there you go, Ash, we said it. We said the word once. They had new bosses every single game, so it's neat to see the old bosses again, but at the same time I love seeing new ones. And I guess there is, they announced one new,
I think it was called Puzzle Knight, like, the new one. Yeah,
Puzzle Knight, and they also kind of hinted he's going to be the bad guy, or at least the way they said it. But that there'll be, more than meets the eye to him, but we'll see the key to that character later.
I wonder how long it took them to come up with Puzzle Knights for their puzzle game.
They're probably thinking of trying to, they're probably digging deep in the pun well and just went, let's just do this for the main one.
I'm glad to hear Tom bring out all these puns.
Yeah.
And of course there's also that censored unannounced game, and we didn't really get a look at it. But just seeing the blurred screens, did you get any impression of what this could be?
Not
no. It looked kind of 3D to me. Like, just the way the things were moving around, it seemed really fluid. So I wonder if they're taking on the 3D dimension this time.
It's highly possible. They hinted that 3D is something they'd be interested in doing in the past. Obviously, the programmers have some experience. They were looking for. They had job positions for like a 3D generalist and other stuff.
Possible.
The only thing, the thing that throws me off, of course, is when I believe it's Nick Wozniak, the main sort of pixel artist, and his screen. So when I see that, I can't think 3D. But people can do other things than just one task. I mean, people don't just make thumbnails, right? So, so anything's possible, and I'm sure they'd love to branch out and try something new. And they have, especially with two titles, if one title is 2D and one title is 3D, that gives them the chance to have one earlier and one later if they need more time to learn 3D or get a good handle on it.
But we probably won't see these for a while now. I mean, as you said earlier, these games are pretty far off. It seems like they're just sort of in production at the moment. So I wouldn't expect them until the earliest 2021, but probably later than that.
I would think so. Like, it's possible the first one could be announced for 2021 and, of course, end up being delayed based off sort of their track record and the track record of any indie studio or even big developer that wants to make a super polished game. It takes time to make something of the level of quality that they do. And even Yacht Club Games had patch notes for new updates for Shovel Knight, and there's stuff in there that, like multiplayer Joustus, and I was thinking to myself, wait, this wasn't in the game already? But yeah, now it's coming in kind of as a neat secret feature. So they still, you can tell they deeply care about their games, though.
Absolutely, yeah. I think a lot of publishers and developers just sort of put their games out there and then move on to the next thing. Whereas Yacht Club, they constantly keep working on and building upon their games to the point where I just wish that they would let me let them take my money again, because we paid for Shovel Knight so long ago, and they just keep giving us more and more stuff. It's like, please let me give you something. And
that's what the amiibo are for, John.
I suppose so. But yeah, that's a good segue there, Tom, because the amiibo are actually functional within Cyber Shadow, which is pretty cool. Giving you extra utility for your amiibo, but also giving you just some cool aesthetic changes to the character, and also, I think, some gameplay functionality too. I think those little fairy things come down and aid you in whatever they can do.
Yeah, you have fairies for each of the sort of main amiibo characters. At first I'm wondering, like, we have amiibo coming to Cyber Shadow. It's like, wait, do they somehow have a Cyber Shadow amiibo? I mean, it's possible, but...
Pretty cool.
It's like, it's still possible, but for the time being, they are just the Shovel Knight amiibo, and bringing them to the game is a neat tie-in to kind of make it so even though it's made by sort of another developer and they're publishing it and offering development advice, it kind of ties it more into the Yacht Club Games family, I'd say.
Absolutely, yeah. It really does feel like one that they made from scratch rather than just aiding with. If you told me this was just made from scratch by Yacht Club, I think I would believe you.
Yes, I'd be like, yep, that's right.
There isn't a great deal to say about Shovel Knight Dig, I don't feel. Like this showing didn't give me much more of an impression than previous showings. It just looks like a solid Shovel Knight spin-off.
Part of it too, they confirmed a new level for Cyber Shadow at PAX East, but it wasn't as clear if there's going to be a new level for Shovel Knight Dig at PAX East too. So they might be, like, it's very hard to prepare for an expo. They might not have a build for new PAX East, but we'll find out soon with Ash and Derek there, and they definitely will be checking out what Yacht Club Games has. So it's possible that just at this time there isn't a lot to say about it, although they announced Hive Night, as I mentioned, and sort of said development progress, but it could be just saved more for a blowout at PAX West, is my guess.
And it helps that Yacht Club are the only developer at PAX this year, because all the other ones have failed. Yeah, I mean, this just looked like a nice little tight presentation showing off what they're working on. I don't think we can expect too much from developers this size, but it was entertaining. And definitely, I think one of the best things for me to see, actually, was just the patch notes on what they've already got there. Just shows how much they care about what they've already done. But yeah, I mean, no real megaton here, but it's great to see that they are working on something and that they're moving on from Shovel Knight with hinting towards a new IP.
Yeah, it's fantastic to hear, and also I'll point out they showed their true forms in the their presentation. That was neat too. It's kind of hard to say. Well, you can sort of tell they're joking yet serious at the same time, so it helps, makes it fun to watch. I find.
Absolutely. All right, Tom, anything else that you liked about this presentation, or is that it for today?
I am basically really looking forward to Cyber Shadow. I'm looking forward to hearing Ash saying something like, I threw my wallet at this game twice. Like, I brought 2 wallets to PAX and they're gone now. And I'm just... Now it's like it might become an actual game that I'm kind of disappointed to wait so long for at this point, because fall, despite being close, that's still far away.
It is, yeah. But, hopefully the wait's going to be worth it. But I guess until then, we're going to have a lot of coverage from PAX in the coming days, so if you want to see more on these games, we'll have some gameplay coverage very soon. And until then, thank you so much for watching, and of course be sure to subscribe to Game Explained for a lot more on Yacht Club Games and other things gaming too. Until next time, bye.
I think for a yacht more.